Hi, welcome to In the Garden. I'm your host, Joyce Hochstrom. Today we're at the home of JoAnn Abel, and she's going to give us a tour of her gardens. Thanks for coming along.
Thanks.
All right.
Hi. So I started with doing a lot of native things. I got a bunch of seeds from a person in St. Cloud that does all native perennials.
Okay.
I really had to watch out for the rabbit ones because we have a lot around here, so I did a lot of rabbit resistant, a lot of native perennials. Some things were here when we moved in, so
Okay.
I
can see the bunnies have been busy
my
on
little
a few
lilies have not survived this year. My big ones finally made it.
Okay.
I had
I'm
some
gonna come
black
around to
ones
this
back
side.
there that I moved from my last house, and they just
Okay.
every year, so I haven't seen them actually bloom here. I did get some lupin in here, which
You've
the
got some milkweed
going, columbine, yep. I have, this is the hardy mums, yep. That's like a pinkish red.
Okay.
And then I have a lot of the bearded fox tongue, or bearded tongue.
Yep.
That is, the bees have been loving that
I
one.
noticed them over on that side.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do like the penstemon.
They do. I have the blanket flower here, which is a different variation than the red and the yellow that you usually see.
Yeah, that's a pretty one.
Yeah, I found that one this year.
And this is, I'm guessing, pretty much full sun most of the
Yep,
day.
a full sun most of the day until about 4:30ish, 5
So
o'clock.
it gets a good shot of sun.
Yeah. I have some shaded gardens in the back that are a little more, but
Okay, I see some coreopsis back there.
yep. And my lilies and my yarrow really took off really well. I planted that one last year, so it's a little bigger.
Oh,
I have the rattlesnake master.
oh, that's an interesting one. It's one I have not grown yet.
Yeah, the thicket seed I got from a garden store. And then back here I have a tall line of cosmos that I'll plant every year.
Well, that'll keep the butterflies happy.
This is another little thimbleweed that I got from the lady at St. Cloud.
Okay.
She winter sows them, so then I was able to fill up a lot of my gardens.
Oh, that's nice.
And hopefully next year it'll start to fill in a little more. The rabbits again with the hollyhocks.
Yeah, they're persistent little buggers.
I did put a honeysuckle vine in there, so hopefully
sure.
that'll take off for next year.
Yeah, that'll be nice on that.
And then these new, I haven't seen them, so I don't know if they're super new, the lemonade phlox.
Oh.
They come out a real pale yellow.
Did you get that at the plant sale?
Yes, I did actually. Yes, I
was
did.
hoping to snag one of those and didn't quite get it.
It was between the lady that I got in St. Cloud, the plant sales that I've been doing since we moved in. Yes,
Okay.
quite a few actually. I'll have to remember to point those ones out. But yes, those were there. And then back here, I love sea turtles, so I have my turtle head.
Oh, yeah.
Along with my turtle decorations. More lilies, more fox, the bearded tongues. There is a bee balm back there that's like a light pink one. I did lose a lot of flowers over this winter, and I don't know
I think it was the constant freeze and thaw.
And then I just planted a lot of things last year, so.
It's a really pretty orange lily. It's very vibrant.
All of the lilies I brought from our last house. So when we moved in March of 2024, it was super warm, so I was able to dig up plants before we sold it and moved.
That always helps.
Yeah, to help, yeah.
So, okay.
And then I have a few more. I have another yarrow, and then it's hard. This is the spotted native bee balm.
Oh, okay.
The mums that I lost a few of, this one is coming back and that one's coming back. They were really pretty, like mixed color mums all on one. Those were here when we moved in.
Okay.
So
It was a rough winter for plants.
Yeah. And then I have The spotted bee balm, the native bee balm.
Okay.
And then the delphin,
Larkspur, it looks like?
yes, thank you. Again, after planting so much, I forget. I'm like, where did I put all these things?
I'm going to try not to step in your flower beds here. Another pretty lily here.
Yeah, that was my aunt's favorite color, so she gave me some of her lilies out of her bed.
Really pretty, and I like your gazing ball in there.
Thank you. Still working on, we're going to have stepping stones.
Matching ones here, little ones. These are pretty.
And then I have the black-eyed Susan coming in.
Okay.
More lilies and yarrow. I know the butterflies and the bees and the hummingbirds love the yarrow, so.
Yeah, they do. Once it gets going, sometimes you have to do a fair amount of dividing to keep it in check.
You can see that plant that was over there was 2 years old, and it already looks like it could be divided again.
Yeah. So, all right.
That's the coneflowers again. The evening primrose.
Oh, okay. That done blooming now, I think.
Yes, they're kind of done. I'm in the middle of full bloom stuff. I was glad my lilies opened. That was my first attempt this year of making my own pots.
Okay.
So calla lily, petunias, and then the vine.
Looks pretty.
Thank you. That really hot days we had did some harsh numbers on the poor petunias.
Yeah. Oh, I bet that's pretty at night.
It is. It's beautiful. It looks like it's flowing down. When we moved in, we were getting water in the basement, so we had to do the rock and the grading away. I'm not usually a rock person. I would love to have flower gardens all the way around, but that's why we created
you don't really have room
to make it much bigger. Do what we can on the small space on Main Street. And then
very nice.
All this is, when I moved in, it was all overgrown. So
so this is yours as well.
This is ours as well, yep.
Okay.
So we took and we tilled everything down to where the hostas was, or are, and starting a new bed. I'm not for sure if I'll keep my vegetables here next year. I think I have a better spot for them.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a rough year for the things like peppers that
Yes.
It was a tough spring for them.
Well, and I will say I started this year for the first time doing started from seed inside. So hardening them off was a little bit of a learning curve for me this year.
There is a learning curve, yes.
I did get 2 new clematises, 2 different kinds to fill up this arch here.
Oh, that'll be pretty when it gets going. They've made some pretty good progress if they were just planted this spring.
Yep, they were just planted. I was worried about them because I planted them a little earlier than I probably should have. But they've made it, so.
The perennials are, they can handle some of that cooler weather.
Yeah.
It just slows them down a little sometimes.
The tomatoes are taking off well.
Yeah. I like the way you've got the beds stacked there.
I found those on Amazon, yes. I like the stacking just with the small space and being able to have deeper roots for things.
That's a neat idea.
And then last year I did have things started in here, but everything I planted last year in here died off. So I'm kind of starting with a clean slate in this area.
Oh yeah, that always, I have a lot of holes in my perennial beds right now.
I had a few hardy hibiscus that started last year and a magnolia tree that I was really excited about, but
yeah,
it was a hard winter.
I thought maybe you'd have lucked out here being, a little more sheltered on Main Street, right kind of in the middle of town.
Right. Yeah, it seems we get quite a bit of wind tunnel through here actually.
Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad, but that's kind of gardening.
Yeah, and then learning the new, just being new to this yard and figuring out spacing and sun and
yep.
This huge hosta was here when we moved in.
Oh, okay.
And then everything in this little area is like a swamp.
Oh, the swamp
native,
milkweed
the swamp.
lobelia.
Yep. I actually expected this to be a red cardinal flower or lobelia. I didn't know they even had blue. It was mismarked. So we have a blue one in there. It was supposed to be red. The lilies will get moved. That's where we planted them when we moved in and missed them moving them out. So
that happens.
And my butterfly weed is hanging in there.
Well, that's good. Mine did not make the winter.
I started that from seed last year, so I was pretty impressed that it made, of all things, it made it.
Yeah, I tried winter sowing some, and they did not germinate for me.
Really? I am going to
try again.
Yeah, I'm excited to try some winter sowing. I just kind of learned about some of that. So there were some peonies here, and I have added to the peony bed.
Yeah.
So
wow. You got quite a few in there.
Yeah, I have a full white one with like a very light pink center, a dark pink one, a different style white one, dark pink, and then red. And this year I just bought the coral charm one in the back. So I'm excited to see that one.
That's a beautiful one.
I have a little yellow one right here up front.
And that looks like it must be an Ito peony looking at the leaves.
Yes, yep. That one actually came from my great-grandmother's house.
Oh.
So it's been in the family for a while.
Nice.
And I'm glad it made it through the move.
I like that sedum. It's a nice one.
That was also everything on the edge of the patio I brought with me and moved here and added those beds.
Okay.
The yellow lilies were back there, and hopefully this fall I bought a bunch of different lilies that were actually yours from the Master Gardener sale, I believe, and kind of dropped them in the front for some color in there.
Okay.
Still working on that area. I did put a few native shade plants back there behind the tree because that stump is pretty rotten. So
okay.
That'll be one of the next projects to get out of there.
Can we go around?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a lot of sedum in here.
Yeah, it's a pretty one.
Love how this was from the Master Gardener sale this spring.
Okay.
Believe it has white flowers on it, they said.
Oh.
I planted a red bleeding heart next to the big pink red bleeding heart back there. So I hope that kind of fills in that area.
Okay.
I brought a white bleeding heart, which was also my great-grandmother's. And I thought it had died off, but when I was remulching and cleaning this area out, I found it. So
it is coming. So
then the fern leaf peony I got from the spring sale, the Master Gardeners, and then all my decorations are pretty much Goodwill finds and changed into things we've made or found.
It's kind of fun. I like going to flea markets and looking for things I can pop into my gardens.
Yep.
I like your little fountain there. It's a cute one.
Yeah, just again, Goodwill was the fountain, and then the pot was at Goodwill. I think a total of $10. I had the little pump, so
you were good to go.
Yes.
And your little, I don't know, is he a mosquito or?
He's like a firefly.
Firefly. Oh, yeah, I don't see I don't see a sticker on him.
No.
But yeah, I like the way you've utilized your stump with stuff too and around it.
Yeah, I do have some Solomon seal, like the variegated, back by the stump. I'm hoping it will get bigger.
Yep, that looks like Grace Barker.
That was also from the plant sale, yeah.
Yeah, I recognize that one.
And then back here we had a bunch of dying pine trees. I'm trying to save these 2 bushes. So we cleared out the dying things.
Yeah, I see you've been.
We've been working the rainbow sensation, and I'm not going to say it right. Weigela. This is the Sonic Bloom one that blooms twice a year.
Okay.
So then I just put a rainbow sensation on each side to help fill out and keep a little bit of a barrier.
Nice. Yeah, you've been busy.
And then if we want to end back here, I have just a little setting area, a wall of hostas.
I love your old that old style.
Again, Marketplace, I think I paid like 75 bucks for the set.
Those are fun. I like that. Oh, you've got the strawberry pot with a little, it just kind of blurps up.
It has to have direct sun for the fountain to work.
Oh, it's a solar.
Yes, and I have raspberries I started back there.
Another, you've got some strawberries.
Strawberries, yep. The comfrey plant for the dogs. They love that when their tummies are upset.
Okay.
So they're able to access that. I have huge jack-in-the-pulpits that I was really excited they came back. I will have to move those to a shadier spot now that this tree's gone, but
it's the story of
ever
gardening.
moving, yes, always moving.
You're always moving something or replacing something.
Yes.
So, well, thank you, JoAnn, for letting us come in
You're welcome.
and see your gardens.
Thanks for coming. It was nice to have you and show you around.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks.
And today we're going to talk about daylily breeding. We're going to start out with what I call my hybridizing apron. And I made this one because it has plenty of pockets. There we go. And in one pocket I have my tags that I use when I make a cross, and we'll talk about a cross in a minute. And these are just old window blinds that I cut up and poked a hole in. And then I have my vinyl coated twisty ties that I use to place the tags. My pencil for writing with a handy little thing. And I kind of learned to do this after trying to carry all this with me and make the cross and put the tag on and write, and was constantly dropping things. So I went, okay, let's make this a little easier. So thus the apron. And I kind of got started on this journey because I really like daylilies, and I'd buy daylilies and had these beautiful pictures in the catalogs, and they'd have, oh wow, they'd show them full bloom and lots of buds, and I'd get them here and they're like, well, that's okay, but it's kind of underwhelming. So then I started doing more research and found out that, for example, daylilies that are hybridized in Florida, they may grow here and they may bloom here, but they're not going to bloom as well. They're not going to, sometimes they can look like an entirely different daylily. I have one in a talk I gave years ago that, you know, the way it looked in the catalog and the way it looked here, where I thought I had the wrong daylily completely until I talked to a few other people that said, no, that's what mine looked like too, you know. So then I thought, well, why can't I make my own? So that's kind of what got me started. Now this is one, you'd look at this and go, yeah, this is nice, and it's not bad. So when I started, I went, I want more than 9 or 10 buds on a stem. And I kind of picked an arbitrary number, and I said 15 is going to be my minimum when I keep a seedling. So this is a nice one. This is one I bought. You know, it's not bad, it's not great, but it's okay. You can see here one of my hybridizing tags. I keep trying to make this one better. This one is one, oh, what is it called? Coral Majority. So we're going to go walk around a little bit, and I see it looks like even with the rain, the pollen is starting to dry. So we're going to grab a couple other daylilies and dab a little pollen and show you how that's done. Okay, here's another one. Now this is one that I crossed a few years ago, and have gotten, as you can see, it's got a few more buds than that other one. And this one has been named Over the Horizon. I usually do a naming contest on Facebook, and when I put one out there, people can submit a name, and then if it's not already used, meaning in the daylily database, that somebody else has already registered a daylily with that name, then their name goes in a drawing, and I draw one out, and when I dig the plant and put it in my beds, they get a couple fans as a start. So this is one of those. And on this one, unfortunately, the pollen is, well, maybe not quite dry from the rain, but we'll see if we can get it to work here. This one looks, what you're going to do is pick off a stamen here, pick off one of the anthers. Look for pollen that's nice and dry and fluffy. And this one, with the rain, it's not quite as fluffy as I'd like it, but I think it will work yet. And then you're going to go to another daylily, and we'll take this one, which is another one of mine, called Northern Gilder. And this one has a fairly long bloom time. I would like better branching, meaning more branches on it, and I'll show you one of those in a while that's under consideration. And then I'm going to go to the pistil on the flower, and ideally you'll see just a tiny drop of liquid on the pistil. It can be very hard to see, but usually it's there. And you're going to take the pollen and just kind of dab it on there. Yep, that looks dry enough to work. It's coming off. So, and then you're done with that. And that's where my name tag comes in. This one is Northern Gilder, so you always start with the pod parent. And you write Northern Gilder. And I put times over the horizon. And usually I'll also write the date on, simply because it takes, especially at this point in the season, as we're getting towards the end of it, because it takes about 45 days from pollination to get a ripe seed pod. So we're going to grab one of these. Some people for tags will use like little jewelry tags or things. I haven't had the best luck with those, especially in a rainy year. So I go with these, and then I erase them at the end of the season when I collect the seed pods. Okay, I want to make sure I get it on the stem with the bloom, because otherwise sometimes a bee will pollinate one of these. So I want to make sure I'm getting the right one here. And then I wait for a seed pod to form. Now, when you do this, you see here there's a little seed pod already forming. A bee got this one. But I don't really want that little one here, so I'm not going to let it grow. I'm going to pop it off and just get the ones that I made. Although sometimes I have ones that are really stubborn about me putting a cross on them, and all I get is bee pods. So then I'll use those, and I'm like, okay, Mother Nature wants it her way, we'll do that. So we're going to head on down to some other ones, and I'm going to show you a little bit more on branching. This is a diploid daylily, and diploid and tetraploid has to do with the number of chromosomes. Now 22 is the normal number of chromosomes, and when you make a cross, that is, you take pollen from one and put it on another one, that's a cross. You're going to get 11 chromosomes from each parent. On a tetraploid daylily, you have double that amount. So if you remember your high school biology and chromosomes and all that, I'm sure all of you remember that. So that's double, so that means 44 chromosomes, 22 from each parent. So sometimes you can tell by looking at the plant, sometimes not. So if you know the name of the plant, you can look it up. If you decide you want to try this at home, you can look it up on the American Daylily Society page. They've got a daylily database of every registered daylily in the United States. Okay, maybe it's the world, I'm not sure. And you can look it up and it will tell you if it's a tetraploid or a diploid. And the reason you want to know that is because you can only cross diploids with diploids and tetraploids with tetraploids. The cross just won't take, it won't form a pod. Or if it does, the pod won't be, it won't develop into viable seeds. So that's why you kind of want to, if you don't know the name of it, then it's kind of trial and error. You just try different crosses of ones you know, and you can figure out if it's a diploid or a tetraploid. Now this one, if you looked at it, you probably wouldn't know. Okay, this one is a tetraploid. And I'm going to leave these pods on here because I have a tag on here, meaning I'm hoping to get a seed pod here. And I'm not quite sure which one it is. I think it's this one, but I don't want to accidentally snap one off. So this one is a tetraploid. If you look at the scapes, they're fairly thick. There's often heavier branching. The petals sometimes have more substance. So if I were to look at this one, I go, yeah, that's probably a tetraploid, even if I didn't know for sure. Now this one is a tetraploid, fallen leaves. But if you look at it, you might think that it was a diploid. But I'll show you some diploids that you would look at and go, yep, that one's a diploid. I can know that for sure. Here we have a tetraploid, and I can look at this from 10 feet away and go, oh, that one's a tet. Look at the size of these scapes and the thickness. Branching can be a factor, not always. I have a diploid that I'll show you that's but look at the branching on this and the buds on this one. This is what kind of the holy grail of what you're going for. A nice flower, good branching, lots of buds. I think this one has 30 some when I counted the other day. I won't take time right now to recount, but that's a great one. Here's an example of a diploid daylily. Do you see how many more fans there are for the number of scapes? Usually on a tetraploid, one fan, which is one section of the plant, throws one scape. On a diploid, very often you'll have multiple fans to throw just one or two scapes. Okay, here's one that's good sized. It's probably not going to grow anymore, but I want to wait until it's starting. The scape will probably start to turn brown, and the stem is another name for it. In daylily terminology, the stem is a scape. So this pod will start to turn brown, and when it starts to crack open a little on top, that's when I know it's about time to pick it. Occasionally they'll start to crack when they're still more green, and I'd like them to stay on the plant a little bit longer. So I'll take one of those little taffeta gift bags, they're sheer, and I just slip it over the pod, or if I'm going to be gone and I think it's going to ripen while I'm gone on vacation or something, I'll slip that little taffeta bag over it, tie it around the stem, and that way if the pod does split open, the seeds collect in the bag. And I like to start them usually in January. I collect the seeds, let them dry for a couple days. I put them in an egg carton, stick the label in there with them. After a day or two, I put them in little paper envelopes, label them with a cross, and then they go in my refrigerator for at least 3 weeks. I don't have room in my house to do the holidays and a tree and start the plants, so I wait until January after the tree is down, and then I start them on a heat mat. Once they germinate in little peat pellets, I plant them into 4-inch deep pots. Some people use the big solo cups with holes punched in the bottom. And then they go down in my basement under lights until I can start setting them outside in the spring to harden off. And then they go out into the seedling beds. And then it takes, usually most of them will give me some bloom the year after I plant the seedlings out. Occasionally one will take till the 3rd year. And it usually takes me 3-4 years before I decide if it's a keeper or not. Occasionally there's one I go back and forth on, and it might be 5 years. So it may not be perfect. Sometimes the branching isn't quite as wide, as good as I'd like it, but I figure if it's an improvement over what I can buy, I'm good. So thanks for joining us on our tour, and I hope you decide to try your hand at some daylily breeding. See you next time in the garden.